Hello, everybody. This is Greg Sain with the Options Power Team, DominateBinaryOptions.com, and I've got on the call with me, I have Frank Trueblood, who is the creator of the Options Equalizer, the Binary Options Equalizer, and also the founder of the Global Success Plan. So, with that being said, Frank, are you on the call? I have him on the phone, so it may be a little different, but we have him on the phone.
I'm on the phone, Greg. Yep.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's start. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible, but I know we can get into all kinds of conversations, and it'll be long and drawn out. We'll be on here for 3 hours, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so what I want to do first, I want to, first of all, say the binary options market is so new. It's like the Wild West. And with the Wild West, you also get, crooks, robbers, poachers, horse thieves, cattle thieves. You get all of that stuff along with good people trying to help people make, a good living and, find that new frontier. So with all that being said, I'm proud to say that we are not only running a solid business, but we're giving people the potential to make a lot of money by just following the system. Now, with my team, the Options Power Team, we follow a 4-part, what we call the 100% profit system. And that 4 parts begins with the 4 pillars of binary option success, which is our discipline system. The second piece is our indicator / signal service, which is coming. And the third piece is the binary options equalizer. Now, the 4th piece is, it comes on the end, but it actually circles back around to the front, because what that does is provides you with passive income that you can use to put into your broker accounts to create more passive income. So it's kind of like, what's the phrase you use all the time about using the interest on the interest?
Yeah, exactly. It's using the interest on the interest, yeah.
Right. So what happens is, okay, if you're working a job, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're working a job, then that's active income. In other words, that's money you make when you go do something for an hour, salary for a year, or an independent contract or whatever. When you go do some work, and that's everybody from the guy who comes and unclogs your sink to the guy who fixes your teeth and works on your heart. Doesn't matter. President of the United States is an employee. When Barack Obama, or who's ever president, when they're watching this in the future, when they go to work, they're only making money when they're working. When they stop working, in other words, when they're no longer president or governor or police chief or firefighter or doctor or lawyer or school teacher or sanitation worker, doesn't matter. When they stop working, when the clock shuts off or when their project is over, they stop making money. That's active income. Passive income is when you are making money regardless of what you're doing or not doing. You could be asleep and you're making money. So what we're trying to do is establish a passive income stream that you can turn into putting it into some of it or all of it into your broker account. Then you take that the indicator or the signals, make the proper trades, and when you lose, and you're going to lose some trades, I don't care who you are, when you lose some trades, then the binary options equalizer turns those losing trades into winning trades. It's a complete holistic system that we call on the Options Power Team 100% success profit system, the 100% profit system. Now, Frank, you created the options equalizer. I was there when we started talking about it and trying to, figure out how we make a product that works like some of the other products that we worked with in the past to give somebody the potential to never lose money, to always be in a money making mode. So I guess the first question I want to ask you is, because in the first interview we already asked you that question. My next question is, how does a guy or a girl use the options EQ pad in order to maximize their earning potential?
Well, it's real simple, Greg, and that is that basically, just like you were mentioning, that as people are trading the markets, and I don't care if you're trading options, forex, whatever it is that you're trading, you will lose trade.
Right.
And so we just use the options equalizer to make up for those losing trades. And basically, how it works is a person is trading their account, and let's say that they lose a trade.
How much you want that trade to be? Because I've got it up now. I can show it.
Just do a $5 trade.
Okay, let's do a $5 trade.
So let's say that we were trading the market. We just lost a $5 trade.
Right. So we hit begin.
Yep. So we come over to the equalizer. We put in a $5 amount. And then we put the odds of 1 to 1.
Okay.
We hit set.
Hit set.
Okay. Now remember, that's a losing trade, so we already have to click on CODB, which means cost of doing business.
Right.
And so what that did is just registered in the binary options equalizer pad that you've lost that $5, that losing trade.
Right.
Okay, so to make that up, I need to know how much my next trade is going to be.
Right.
So we have the pad set up where you can just do your first trade is 1 to 1, your second trade 2 to 1, your third trade 3 to 1, and it makes it real simple like that. So we just put in for our next trade 2 to 1 and hit set.
Got it.
Okay, that just shows us the amount that our next trade needs to be.
Right.
Okay, so let's say that we go make that trade. Well, and it's a winning trade. It just won back our previous trade. It won our existing trade, and it put a profit in our pocket.
Right.
So that's how simple it works on the surface. Behind the scenes, it's very, very complicated, and a lot of formulas and algorithms and all that to determine what a person's next trade amount needs to be.
Got it.
Okay, but we just want to make the front of it just as simple as possible, as easy for the average person to use as possible.
Exactly. Exactly. And what do we call it? We've got a guy, an elderly gentleman we worked with for several years, and he barely knows how to turn his computer on. His name is Tom Dole, and we used to tell Tom, we're going to make this Tom Dole proof.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, because he could barely turn on his computer. I mean, he just didn't know that much about the computer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy, he just didn't know anything about computers, and because of that, we had to make everything we did, which was a good thing because it taught us that simplicity is superior to anything else.
Yes, exactly.
The simpler it is, the better. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, so once you win, do you start over? So
so that's what the start over button is for.
Right. So then you hit start over, and then you commence trading as you normally would.
Right.
Now, what do you do? Because I just made a video about this, but I wanted to make sure that the people saw it come from your mouth.
Yeah.
What do you do if, say, you got two accounts? You got one account, say, at Forest Park BX, and you got another account at, say, Boss Capital.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, clearly, the trades are going to be on two different platforms.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They could easily have two separate time algorithms going. So when one ends on Boss Capital, could be 3 to 5 seconds later than the one at Forest Park. The pip number, the expiry rate, could easily be 10, sometimes 20 pips off between two different brokers.
Right.
So you got two brokers, two separate accounts, and you're trading, say, because you're using signals, you're trading any signal that pops up. So it could be different goal per trades. It could be different rate of return per asset.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and before we go any further, because I know the answer, but I'm going to preface the answer with this. Regardless of what someone might think we're trying to do, here's the fact of the matter, folks. I knew about this software before any other human on planet Earth got a chance to see it. I'm probably one of the first people to ever test it out. I could have said, Frank, this is a gold mine. Let's keep it, use it, and don't tell anybody. Okay?
Right.
So clearly, this is not about me trying to pad my pocket with options EQ pad money. I'm trying to let everybody know that this is how you win. This is how you win in the real picture. This is how you get to the place that you want to get to in the quickest amount of time. So, Frank, if you got two, let's just start with two broker accounts.
Sure.
What is the recommendation for your options EQ experience?
Well, it's really the same, Greg, whether you're doing two different accounts, you're doing two different assets, whatever you're doing, you can have as many options equalizer pads as you want. So what I do and what I show our members to do is just go in and name each pad what you want to name.
Okay, so, now tell me how you do that. I know how you do it, but tell me how you do it for the audience, and okay, I will do it on the screen.
So right where it says options equalizer pad,
right,
click right on it.
Mm-hmm.
And right at the end of it, you don't even need to change the standard name, but just right on the end of it, just put a dash and put in there, let's say that we're going to be trading the euro against the USD.
Okay.
So just put euro/USD.
Got it.
And click on the body of the pad.
Anywhere in the body.
Yep.
And there it is.
Yeah, and so now there's your one pad that you're using specifically for the euro USD.
And because euro USD is usually around 70%,
yeah,
then we keep it on the low goal per trade.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can go on. But let's say you are using something like gold.
Sure. Okay.
I know that in one of my broker accounts, gold is usually around 80%.
Sure.
So then clearly, I would click to medium gold per trade.
Yes, and what that does is that tells you what your trade amount needs to be if you're indeed getting a return of about 80%.
So let's just go through the whole process again. We begin at $5 again.
Okay.
We hit 1-to-1 odds.
Right.
Hit set.
Yeah.
All right. We know that was a loss, so we hit CODB.
Right.
Next trade, we go to 2-to-1.
Yeah.
Hit set. And as you can see, that answer is different than the previous answer.
Right. Now that trade amount is different than the other trade amount.
Because you went to medium gold per trade.
Right.
However, if you go to high gold per trade, let's say, for instance, you are using Nadex. Or better, let's say you're using Forest Park.
Sure.
Forest Park BX. Relatively the same as Nadex, just doesn't cost so much to get involved. Hit begin. All right, now, hit begin.
Yeah.
At high gold per trade. 1-to-1, we know we lost a $5 trade. Hit set. CODB. We lost $5. The next one we go to 2 to 1. It's set $19.
Okay,
It makes a
because you're
difference.
on the high gold per wager. That's why the amount changes.
Exactly, and it makes a difference because at Forest Park, you can get 80, 90, 100, 110%. You can go up to 300-400% on a trade. So, and you can spend the same $5. Whereas with Nadex, you can't spend $5 on anything. There's nothing for $5 in Nadex.
Right.
Okay. But with that being said, it's all based on how you set it up. No calculator can do that.
Right, exactly.
And I know for a fact that there is absolutely no martingaling technique that takes any of this into account.
Right.
That's just the facts, folks.
Well, I think one thing that a lot of people don't know, Greg, is that, you know, I had an equalizer built like this that we had been building even before computers were computers online. And we had a whole entire system built offline, and then with the advent of the computer, you know, we brought it online and started building online. And, you know, so it takes years and years and years of formulas and, you know, because the one word that I always hear thrown around is about an algorithm.
Right.
And there's a lot more to formulas and systems than just algorithms.
Right.
And, you know, the same thing, no matter what piece of software you're designing, like one of the things that we designed with the options equalizer pad here is that people can access it right online, so it's web-based, instead of needing to download anything.
Right.
So that makes it real easy and convenient. But then again, you can also use from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I mean, it doesn't matter, and just change the name, you know, whatever suitable for what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that is exactly what I was trying to get to, because I know for me, it makes more sense to have more than one pad, because if you're using this pad, and let's say it doesn't have, you don't have any of the, you know, different pads set up. You only got one pad, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, you lose a $5 trade and say you get a signal that looks really good, and you've already been using your second account at $50 per trade. You can't put that together.
Right.
You cannot put the two losses from two different sources together.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's just like somebody going to Vegas and playing the ponies and losing $5,000, and then on the way away from the ponies, they stop at the blackjack table and lose another $5,000. You don't try to make up that $10,000 on the roulette wheel.
Right, exactly.
That's craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes more sense to keep it separated.
Right.
Yeah, you have to get two different pads. Yes, you have to pay two different fees. But the key component is keeping in mind this word right here, that little an acronym, CODB.
Mm-hmm.
That means cost of doing business.
Right, exactly.
If it costs you, now, first of all, let's as a side note, just for me, Frank.
No.
What is the what was the conversation that you had with the bank president with respect to this technology?
Well, basically, when I first developed this and was talking to a banker and was trying to explain it to him, he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. And so I said, well, let me show you. And so I actually showed him on the computer, and I showed him, you know, what I had developed. And he looked at it, and he played around with it for about a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I ran him through some different scenarios and said, well, you know, if you were using this for $5, or if you started with $20, or if you started with 50, or and I was showing him just different scenarios. And he sat back and looked at it, and he said, I literally can't believe what I'm looking at.
Right.
And I said, so what does that mean? And he said, I mean, this is incredible. And I said, well, let me just ask you, what do you think that it's worth? Let's say that I was actually going to sell it to the banking industry, and I said, hey, write me a check. What is this worth?
Right.
He told me, he said, Frank, he said, if we could use this for the banking industry, he said, I kid you not, he said, it's easy worth $100 million.
Right.
He said, it's that, it's that simple, and yet it's that powerful.
Right.
That he said, it's definitely worth that and more.
Right. Right.
And I said, well, if I was going to sell it, I mean, right now, and I just wanted to sell it and say, hey, I want to, the quickest way possible to make money and everything. He said, Frank, he said, I mean, really bottom line, he said, personally, he said, I wouldn't sell it for anything less than $10 million.
Right.
And so I thought that was a pretty good indication. I mean, this guy's obviously in the banking industry,
right.
Knows about banking, and that was his opinion about it.
Right, and I mean, he has that opinion because he understands finance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't claim to be a financial genius. I just know that when I trade, I won't trade without it.
Right. Well, it just doesn't make any sense, Greg, because no matter how good we are, no matter how much we perfect our systems or our trading ability or any of that,
right?
No matter what any of us do, we're going to have a winning trade, a winning trade, a winning trade, a winning trade, and then we're going to have a losing trade.
Right.
And so the whole key is really just using the options equalizer pad to make up that losing trade.
Right.
Because losing trades, it's kind of like the first time that I ever started working on this, and one of the key features that led me to working on this is I saw another person doing what they were doing, and it happened to be betting on horses at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, to me, that's another situation where it's just about statistics and money.
Right.
It really doesn't have anything to do with betting on horses.
Right.
And she had won 6 times in a row, which means, and I was betting totally opposite of her.
Right.
She won 6 times in a row, which means I lost 6 times in a row.
Right.
I won the very next race, the 7th race, which means she lost. So when you look at the statistics, you would think, well, geez, this gal won 6 out of 7 times. Frank only won once out of 7, and yet I'm the one that walked away with the most money. She actually lost money for the day.
Right. And she didn't really even know it probably till she got home.
Right.
Because it's the same thing when people trade. And what I like about the options EQ pad is it takes into consideration how people trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people, when they sit down and say, okay, if they don't have, the 4 pillars, then they try to come up with their own discipline system. And their discipline system usually consists of one thing, and that is, today I'm only going to trade $100.
Right.
Or today I'm only going to make $25 trades. So what happens is they make, let's say they're going to do $25 trades. They don't say how many of those they're going to make. They just make them until they get tired or whatever. But, okay, they'll do 25, win, 25, win, 25, loss, 25, win, 25, loss, 25, win, 25, win, loss, 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 25s, all of them 25s, okay? Then when they add up all their money for that day, they say, wait a minute, I won more often than I lost. How am I down?
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
How am I?
Right.
Well, it's easy. It's mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
Because binary options, and don't look at it just as binary options. The stock market, commodities market, futures, all of it. It's just like Vegas. If you stay in the casino long enough, you're gonna start losing some money. So you have to know what you're doing. You got to have a system. And I see it all the time. Frank, I know you can. Megan, who just came in, and I had to stop her because she was going to come give me a little kiss. But everybody can make a better tasting hamburger, especially when it's better for you than McDonald's. But I defy you to find me one person or a group of people who can come up with a better system for selling them.
Right.
Nobody beats McDonald's. Nobody. I don't care who you are. You may have a better look. I like Culver's. I love Culver's. If I'm going to have a burger and I got a choice between McDonald's and Culver's, there's no competition. But who do I automatically think of when I think of burgers, fast food burgers? McDonald's.
Yeah, drive-through window.
Drive-through window. Boom. Take you 2 minutes. Going to be cheap. You know, it tastes okay, and I'll get what I need to do. All right. So that same concept goes here. Systems. The 4 pillars of binary option success. System. The indicator / signal system. The binary options equalizer system. Now, one more piece of the system I want to talk about in this call briefly, and that is the 4th piece, the passive income system. Let's touch on that. Talk to me about how you can potentially make $8,500 a month by owning the options equalizer and just telling a couple of people about it.
Well, and that's key to it right there, is just literally we pay commissions when anybody refers somebody else to use the binary options equalizer path.
Right.
And we pay, you can see the whole commission structure and everything, you know, by visiting our site and everything, but basically we pay $8,500 a month in just residual income.
Right.
So it gets to be one heck of a lot of money for also just referring people to something that they need anyway that you like using, and so why not refer a few people and start making some passive income that way?
Exactly.
No.
And you get excited. I mean, it's not like, it is almost, I call it passive marketing.
Yes, exactly.
Because you get excited, you tell somebody about it, or you get excited and you make a video on YouTube, or you know, even more passive mode. You get excited because you're making some good money, and then your neighbors wonder where to get that car from.
Mm-hmm.
Or like my neighbors, they're over it now because I've been here for a while. But at first, they used to always wonder, how is it that this guy is at home all day?
Right, exactly.
What does he do? You know what I mean? He's not tall enough to be a Timberwolf.
Right.
He's not heavy enough to be a Viking.
Yeah.
He looks a little old to be both. Right? So what does he do? You know, what does he do? He's at home all day.
Right.
If anybody in my neighborhood who sees me come out of my house, I don't care if it's noon, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I probably got on lounge pants and a t-shirt going to the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, what does this guy do every day? And then when somebody asks me, I just tell them, I trade binary options. It's interesting because they say, what, day trading? Because I would say at least 90% of the people in America today don't have a clue what binary options trading even is.
Right. Yeah, even though it's actually one of the hottest global trends that we're in right now, it's like anything else. It takes years before it becomes, you know, general public knowledge.
Right. And we're on the cutting edge of it right now.
Yes, absolutely.
And the good news is, and I say this with all certainty, without any question. A, nobody has anything like the options EQ pack. Nobody. Nobody has a system of marketing our products better than the Global Success Plan. And also, because the market is so new and so fresh, then we're on the edge of the wave. And because of the fact that everybody's going to eventually want it and need it, that means that if you're with option domination, I don't care if you're getting signals from John Anthony, I don't care if you're creating your own signal, I don't care if you're just throwing a dart at a dartboard. And the only thing on the dartboard is put, call, put, call, put, call. All right? If you can get 50% of them right, yeah, everybody's trying to find the ultimate holy grail of indicators, or the ultimate holy grail of signal services, and all of that, because the overarching sentiment is we want to win more.
Right.
I personally get mad when I do 10 and 0. Because when I go 10 and 0, I know I need to take an 11th trade hoping to lose it. Because I've done it side by side with team members before they actually got the options equalizer. I said, I tell you what, I'm going to let you trade with me. We're going to trade together. All right? And when I make a trade, you make a trade. But a couple of times, I'm going to tell you to make the right trade, and I'm going to take the wrong one. So I'm going to have a couple of losses in there. And you're going to have all wins. All right? Now, let's add up how much money we made. I always win. I always win. So where can you do anything in life when you make more money losing than winning?
Well, here's a good example, Greg, is one of our members that I was talking to the other day said that he made 54 trades, 23 of them he won, and 21 of them he lost. But he said using the binary options equalizer pad that he closed out the day still up $260.
Yeah.
So you know that if he had actually won 23 trades and lost 23 trades and not used it, he'd have been way down.
He wouldn't have been able to make that many trades because he'd lost his account before then.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
And so, you know, to me, anytime that you can literally trade, and he almost traded, you know, just even 50 wins, 50 losses. But the key thing to really keep in mind is it's just like the gal and myself being at the track, and she won 6 out of 7 trades. I only won 1 out of 7, and yet I made more money. So the thing to always keep in mind is not about how many trades you win. It's really how much money you walk away with.
Right.
And that's what the options equalizer pad allows you to do, is walk away with more money than somebody trading, and when they lose their trade, they actually lose their money with it.
Right.
That's the big difference.
That's a huge difference. That's one of those differences that you can't just glaze over.
Right.
I mean, that's one of those kind of deals where you know you're making the right move, because that's the key component, and that's the component that we've tried to express time and time again, and that is that we are not concerned so much with whether or not you're winning all your trades. Our concern is not whether or not you consistently win every trade. That's not the key component.
Right.
The key component is, are you making money? Are you making money? Because win or lose, if you're making money, that's all that really matters.
Right.
That's the only thing that matters. So I think we touched on, we're coming up on an hour. I think we touched on enough information to know what to do. As I've told my team 1,000 times before, you have no reason to feel any kind of way about presenting this opportunity to people. There's no reason to feel like you would feel if you're trying to sell something that you don't really believe in. If you're using it, then we know you believe in it because it's working. So the main thing that we try to stress is just use it. Get used to using it. Get your muscle memory up by using it. And then you'll win. And then the main thing, when you establish the 4 pillars, the proper indicator / signals, and the binary options equalizer, then you grow your confidence. And after growing your confidence, then you lose all of that, oh my God, when you win, and oh my God, when you lose. You don't freak out for any reason, because you become a machine.
Mm-hmm. Becomes very, very systematic, very methodical.
Exactly, and that's the key component to winning in this game, because you have to be able to think like Warren Buffett. Just do the work. You have to think like a farmer. Just plant the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Plant the seed and sit back. In 5 minutes, 15 minutes, half a day, or end of day, you will have a harvest. Or you will show a crop that didn't come in. So then you just go back in to the options equalizer and fix it. Okay? That's the kind of farming I like.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, hey, Frank, thanks for your time. I know you're super busy. And even though I knew most of these answers, I wanted everybody else to get a better taste of what that's about and how we go about doing this. And hopefully, if you find that what you've heard here today makes sense, just go to dominatebinaryoptions.com. You can get started today. Do not waste time. You owe it to your family and you owe it to yourself. You have a fiduciary responsibility. That means that you owe somebody the ability to handle your money properly. So you have a responsibility to yourself and to your family to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can to maximize your earning potential while you're on this planet and while you're able to do so. My old Baptist minister dad used to say all the time, cut corn while the sun is shining, because night come when no man can work.
Yep, exactly.
So if the sun is shining, folks, the sun is shining, cut a lot of corn.
That's right. Well, I appreciate being on the call, Greg. And we'll catch up with you another time on a webinar or call.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Frank. I appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, guys.